Guys, this is John here, and just starting a new vlog here to kind of take you through this journey of kind of where I'm at. Currently, I have a 2019 Ford Mustang Shelby GT350R, and let me just say right off the bat that this car has been a dream come true. I love this car. I picked it up September of last year from this guy down in SoCal who got it off the dealer lot. Basically, for him, it was like an impulse purchase. And he ended up only driving it like 400 miles. I guess, after his emotions died down, he felt like it wasn't doing enough for him, or maybe he wasn't doing enough for the car, so he decided to sell it. Literally saw it a few hours after he posted up on Craigslist, and this is right before the prices of the R started to really skyrocket. But I jumped on it and I contacted him, and I was like, hey man, interested in your car, I'm serious. I'm all the way up in the Bay Area, but if you're willing to hold out for me to get all my docs in order, my finances, I'd love to get the car from you. This guy was pretty cool. So, long story short, I flew down to SoCal the following weekend, gave him a check, and pretty much drove it back up here to the Bay Area. And ever since then, it's just been such an awesome experience. I love taking it out every time I get the chance. Draws a lot of attention. Taking it into several car meets where I've got to meet a lot of other 350 and GT500 owners and just Mustang owners in general. And there seems to be an all-around appreciation for the car, and people that don't even know Mustangs, but they just like the look, they like the sound of it. Can't really complain. It's such a beautiful car that Ford designed, and something that I've really come to appreciate over the months that I've had it. And now with Ford not producing these cars anymore, it's becoming harder to get. So, if you're on the market for one of these, or if you thought about it, yeah, the prices are insane right now because inventory is just so low, and people are either holding on to them, or the ones that do have them, or if they're selling them, they're making a good chunk of change. So it's just a beautiful car. I mean, everything about it, I love it. I haven't tracked it yet. I may track it in the future, but as for now, I just kind of wanted to enjoy it for what it is on the city roads and the weekend drives and stuff like that. Which brings me to kind of like the next questions, like why get into another car? And I think for most people out there, especially if you're into cars, that even though you may have the car that you really like, it doesn't stop there. I think for me at least, it runs in my blood. I just love cars in general. I love driving them. I love looking at how they're manufactured, how they're designed, and all the research and things that go into it. I originally was not into American Muscle. My first car actually was a 94 Prelude SI. I had it for about 10 years, and I got it when I was 16 years old. My parents got it for me, and I loved it, and I took good care of it. Of course, I did get into like 3 accidents racing, when I was younger. I think when we were all younger, we kind of just made a lot of bad decisions. But my parents were pretty cool. They helped me to get it fixed and let me keep driving it. And eventually I got to the point where I was taking good care of it. I lowered it, threw on some rims, and didn't really get too much into the import community with other people, but just had a few friends here and there that we would go right around together. But it was a great car, a great experience. It was reliable. And then sometime around, I would say, my late teens, I started noticing American Muscle, specifically like classic cars. And I was living at Indiana at the time, and there were a lot of classics out there, a lot of people who were into the hot rod community. And I remember just falling in love with the old classic Mustang 65, 68. Specifically, actually I ended up owning a 68 later. I'll get into a little bit of that later. But I couldn't afford one at the time, especially as a teenager and going into early adulthood. It just wasn't within my schedule or something I could realistically get. But I knew that I wanted to get one eventually one day. And as I graduated from college, got my first job, I picked up something a little bit more reliable. It was the S197 Mustang, 2006. It was a six banger, and that was pretty much short lived. I mean, I knew there was so much more that the Mustang could offer, and so eventually I traded that in and got a GT 07 a year newer, and it was a lot of fun. having that car, and then from there I traded. I had a Harley at the time, and that's the thing too. Like I'm such a I'm all over the box kind of guy, or inside or outside the box, however you want to call it. But I was just into whatever I thought looked good, whether it's American or import. It could be Harley, it could be a Honda, it could be Suzuki. Didn't matter if it looked good and it sounded good. I just was drawn to it, and I think our car community, the way it's just been, at least the way I've experienced it, is that it's just so divided, and it's either you're American muscle or you're import. I've When I used to have my Harley, actually when I had my Harley, I had a Sportster 1200, and then I got a Repsol 2013 600R, and it was just so funny because every time I would take each one out, if you're on a sport bike, all the guys on the sport bike will nod you, but if you're on the Harley and you're on a sport bike, you don't really look at each other. But I would always wave anyway, because I knew what I had, but they just didn't know. They just thought I was some kid on a sport bike, and so there would never be this acknowledgement that you would get from people that rode the same type of bike. But whenever I was on the Harley, yeah, all the guys on the Harleys or the BMWs or things like that, they would always say what's up. So it was just interesting to see the divide externally, when internally, I had appreciation for all makes and models, and that extended to my car interest as well. And so I eventually got a 68 Mustang. I traded my Harley in for that. This is right around when I had my first kid, and I just kind of got a little bit of cabin fever and just wanted to take it easy, not do anything too dangerous. And so I traded in the Harley to a guy out in Tracy, California, and he was okay with trading his Mustang. It was beat up, but I ended up turning that into a pretty good project for myself, and had a friend that helped me to restore it. We pretty much gutted the whole thing. I welded on some new floor pans, completely did the suspension, upgraded the brakes, new rims. The only thing pretty much I didn't do was just the exterior body work, but everything else pretty much, there was a 289 C4 original engine, and it ran beautifully, and it made a lot of noise too. So yeah, that was that consumed about 2-3 years of my life, and then from there I kind of just got out of the car scene for a while, and then recently, just with everything going on, I think whether it was with COVID or society in general, I just kind of been wanting to escape more. And I got my family, work, and I'm actually in school right now too, to pursue further education, but just for pure enjoyment. Not a lot of things I'm really into, but cars seem to be just that one thing, and so I just kind of went back into my roots, and that's how I found out about the 350R. I remember I saw that from Jay Leno's garage. He had that on his show. I was just like, well, this is the one I need to get. So I got into the market, and that's how I came up with the R. But I was at the dealer not too long ago, and getting my oil changed, and I walked through the lot because I was just waiting there, and I saw the Civic, and I was like, just a Civic, right? But something about it. So I walked up to it, and man, this car, the Civic that I saw, it was a black 2019 Type R, used, being sold, and man, it looked clean. There are a lot of similarities with the 350R, especially the Brembo brakes, the red accents, the Recaro seats. And I think it's got some Alcantara on it too, the steering wheel. And so there are a lot of similarities, other than the fact that one's Honda and one's Ford. But kind of brought up those old feelings I had when I had my Prelude, and just appreciating that experience and everything about it. Not really being held back by the image of what it means to be into import or what it means to be into American muscle, but just having a general overall appreciation for just cars in general. And so me being the type of guy I am, I was just like, yeah, I think I'm gonna get this. I knew it. I mean, I knew my wife wouldn't be too happy about it, and it didn't make a lot of financial sense to have more than one sports car, but you kind of get to that point where you just gotta follow your desires, man, and that's what I did. And so I started researching. I started looking up YouTube and all these other guys that got their video on getting their first CTR. And so I started searching, and I knew that this year, or 2021 would be the last year that they're actually doing this model, and that Honda's going to be changing up the looks of it. So I was thinking about maybe I can wait it out and see what the new model looks like, but from the information I read, I heard that they're going to tone down the look to not make it look as, boy racer type. The thing I liked about this specific model that they have out right now is that, it looks kind of crazy, and I like that wow factor, that draw factor. And my 350's magnetic gray, so I was just like, okay, I think I'm going to try to get a white one because I think white looks so clean. So I started going into the market and just seeing that, okay, the market for the Type R, or just the overall used car market in general right now, is just insane. People and dealers are asking for crazy amounts of money. You can literally buy a used Type R for what they were asking for a new Type R not that long ago. So not that it's a bad thing, but if you're selling the car, it's definitely a good thing. But if you're buying the car, it's definitely not a good thing. So that just means a lot of markup from dealers on the brand new one. So anyway, long story short, came across this Type R from a dealer not too far from me, about 2 hours north, and put the deposit in, gave a little bit more for the carbon fiber package. But I just kind of wanted to, just get everything on it and just enjoy it right off the bat. I put in an order with Signature Wheels, working with Terrence over there, and getting a nice setup in preparation for when I get the car. So I'm just going to throw them right on there. So hopefully everything goes well, and this vlog I'm going to be doing, it's not for one type of car or the other, not for import or American. It's just maybe if you like these type of cars, or you just got appreciation for cars in general, if you want to go on this journey with me, I would love for you to stick around and subscribe. And I'm going to be releasing content on my experience, what I think about both cars and how they both handle. I'm going to be trying to go into different meets, whether it's with the Mustang crowd or with the Honda crowd, and hopefully they'll be accepting of me. But yeah, I'll be getting the car in early to mid-May next month, and I'm excited, and I'll be doing a video on that as well. So stick around, subscribe, hit that like button, comment, share what you think about this. Maybe you have a similar experience, maybe you think, no John, you're full of it. Gotta stick with one or the other. And that's another thing too, there was a guy on the Mustang forum that I go on daily, and he was coming on to say goodbye, so he started a new thread, and he just got rid of his Mustang, and he picked up I think it was a Sonic Gray Pearl Type R. And the majority of people seemed like they were actually, hey man, like, good on you, good luck, find your happiness however you need to. But then you always got those people that kind of ragged on him. So there are a few people out there like, hey, how is your lawnmower gonna run? And all this kind of slack towards him. So I just thought it was interesting. I mean, I commented to him like, hey man, I'm about to actually pick up a white CTR too, so maybe we'll see on the other side of the forums, so. But there's always going to be hate out there, and that's fine. You can't change everybody's mind, or you can't make everyone think the way you think or what you see. And we're not trying to go for those kind of people, but just for people that have a love for cars in general, and specifically these cars. So yeah, thanks for listening. Catch you guys later. Thanks.